What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Matt Talk Sports, and Week 12, at least the Sunday slate, has officially wrapped up. We ended the day with the extreme blowout Bucks versus Rams, and we started the day with some really great games. It was a good slate. Was it the best weekend of the year? Probably not, but it's NFL football nonetheless, and I'm happy to watch NFL football any Sunday, no matter how good or how bad the games are. And I imagine you are too if you're watching this video. If you made this far in the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel right now at Matt Talk Sports. Follow me everywhere at Matt Talk Sports, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And let's get into this slate. Honestly, I am glad I didn't have to watch the Buffalo Bills today. I am just glad I didn't have to get stressed out and I just had to kick up my feet and just think about and watch these games that I was watching with my own eyes at the moment, because the Buffalo Bills are stressing me out too much and they piss me off too much. So I was glad to get a little bit of a rest from that team. And I'm sure a lot of teams who were on a bye this week felt the same way I did. But anyway, let's start with the 1 o'clock slate. Probably the best slate of the day. The 4 o'clock slate was actually pretty good. Some interesting storylines to come out of the 4 o'clock slate. But the 1 o'clock slate, pretty goddamn good if you ask me. Let's get into it. We'll get the blowouts out the way and the games that aren't worth talking about too much out the way. Jets versus Ravens. The Ravens beat the Jets 23-10. Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Justin Fields was benched. Honestly, the Ravens offense continues to struggle, and Lamar Jackson does look injured. If he's not injured, he just hasn't looked good in the past 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, they're winning games, so that's all that matters at this point. So if he isn't healthy, them winning games is still important, because if he gets healthier, we all know how scary and dangerous this team is. But now they're above 500, and the Steelers just lost, and Aaron Rodgers is injured. He has a slightly fractured left hand, so they're working with firepower right now. They're working with momentum, and hopefully they're getting healthier on offense, particularly Lamar. Kyle Hamilton just got injured in today's game for the Ravens. Hopefully it isn't season long or season ending. I'm not too sure what his status is heading into next week or for the rest of the year, but ultimately the story of this game is the Jets are not a good football team. The Ravens win another game to finally get back above 500, and Lamar is getting healthier, because right now he doesn't look healthy. So the Ravens, they moved to 6-5. And man, they needed another win badly to keep up this momentum. They have a quick week Thursday. They play the Bengals Thanksgiving night. Is Joe Burrow going to play? That's an interesting game, man. And Jamar Chase is going to be back. T. Higgins got injured for the Bengals earlier today. We'll talk about that as well. But right now, that line is plus 7.5 Bengals. It shouldn't be that far apart, in my opinion. And honestly, if you're a Jets fan at this point, it's just like, man, let's just lose every game from here on out so we can get a great draft pick, draft a great player for this new regime under Aaron Glenn, because what we're watching right now is horrible to watch. Honestly, Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie, these are two rejects from past teams who Colts rejected Adonai Mitchell, fumble heading into the end zone. Mechie's just been moving around a whole bunch of different teams because he didn't work out on the Texans. But hey, maybe these two young guys figured out in New York or New Jersey nonetheless. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, the Ravens win. They get above 500, and the Jets continue to be poverty. Moving on to the next game. Seahawks beat the Titans 30-24. The Seahawks moved to 8-3. The Titans fall to 1-10. And honestly, the scoreline for this game is way closer than this game actually was. This was a blowout, and the Titans worked themselves back into this game. Dimitri DK, one of the sleeper best draft picks of this year, particularly for the Titans. I mean, he's great on special teams, and he's sneakily good on offense. The Titans just need to get better on offense. Is it going to be sooner rather than later? I imagine it's going to be later rather than sooner. Cam Ward, no turnovers from him today. Did get sacked 4 times or so. I mean, they're playing a great defense, so that's not surprising. They couldn't run the ball a lick today, 22 for 64. He had 1 touchdown running, Cam Ward, and he had a touchdown passing. Xavier Restrepo got called up from the practice squad, former Cam Ward teammate at Miami. 2 receptions, 226. Gunnar Helm, the rookie from Texas, 6 for 51. And then Dimitri DK, he had a return touchdown on special teams for the punt return team. And then he had a receiving touchdown today. So he had 2 touchdowns combined today, Dimitri DK. So, hey, listen, this season for the Titans is bad. They're 1-10. They're probably going to have this first or second overall pick in the draft. But listen, Cam Ward, he's been turning the ball over quite a bit this year. So, listen, he's going to get better as the years go by. And it looks like you might have some promising picks here with Chimichi GK and Gunnar Helm. When it pertains to the Seahawks, Sam Darnold did his thing today. Only got sacked once. He didn't turn the ball over. 16 to 26, 244 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He was efficient and he did what he needed to do today. Kenny Walker, 11 for 71, and Charbonnet, 6 for 35, 1 rushing. And then the biggest story from this game is how great Jackson Smith-Njigba is, and he's closer than anyone has ever been to break the NFL record for most receiving yards in a season. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 8 receptions, 167 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. He scored the first touchdown of the game, and it was an incredible touchdown by him. I mean, he's just one of the greatest receivers I've seen, at least of this half decade or so. He is so goddamn great. He's on my fantasy team. I mean, I love him. Jackson Smith-Njigba, if you weren't a Seahawk, I would buy your jersey. But also, side note, this came up because my friends, I had a Cam Newton Carolina Panther jersey in middle school. My friends were like, "Oh, you used to be a Carolina Panther fan. You weren't a Buffalo Bills fan." It's like, hey, Cam Newton is one of my favorite football players of all time. He was like an idol to me in college at Auburn. Like, that dude was special to watch week in, week out. So I bought his jersey as a young kid. My mom bought my jersey, but you get the point. And I wore it to school. And ever since then, all my friends are like, "Oh, you're not a Buffalo Bills fan because you bought another team's jersey and another player's jersey." It's like, no, 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 no. I think you're allowed to buy other players' jerseys if they're not rivals or in the same division as your team. So let's say I'm a Bills fan. I can buy other players' jerseys I like from the NFC, or like I would stay away from the AFC conference and like the AFC East because I see those teams like every year, or I have to play them in the playoffs. So let me know how you feel about that. If you are a fan of a particular team, are you allowed to buy other players' jerseys from different teams that you like? I think you should. Like a Bills fan, why would you care if a Bills fan bought a Cam Newton Panthers jersey? Like that's one of my favorite players of all time. I'm gonna buy his jersey because that dude is electrifying. Sorry for the side note, but Jackson Smith-Njigba is incredible. The Seahawks continue to be great. They're one of the very best teams in the NFL. They moved 8-3 and they beat the Titans 30-24. The Titans moved to 1-10. Moving on. Let's talk about the Vikings and Packers and what number 9 did today. By the way, JJ McCarthy, note to self, whatever you do after this football career, never give yourself a nickname. Just never do it. Just never do it. Because this is the worldly karma that will come back to you. JJ McCarthy with another abysmal game, man. I mean, this dude. I tried to defend the JJ McCarthy pick when it initially happened. Like, hey, he's a great game manager and he's a winner. Listen, this is his first year starting as an NFL quarterback. He's been battling injuries when he first got drafted, and he battled injuries this year. But man, it is dark in Minnesota right now, especially when you had Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones on your team a year ago, and they're both striving on the Seahawks and the Colts right now. JJ McCarthy, 12-19, 87 yards, 2 picks, 34.2 QB rating. I mean, it was a horrible day. 20-93 rushing the ball today for the Vikings, 842 for Mason, and then 941 for Aaron Jones. Justin Jefferson, 4 for 48. TJ Hockenson, 4 for 19. Aaron Jones, 3 for 16. And Jordan Addison had 0 catches today. And we know this Packers team is pretty unimpressive. And, like, their defense is great on paper, but it hasn't been that great. I know the Vikings O-line is banged up, but, man, what an abysmal and uninspiring performance from the Vikings in this game today. I thought this was actually going to be a close game, in-division game. Thought it was going to be close, and it wasn't at all. There wasn't a moment when this game was close, maybe for the first quarter and the bits of the first half, but pretty abysmal performance. JJ McCarthy got sacked 5 times today. And I know the Vikings were put in a really bad spot. They were a rock stuck in a hard place. I mean, you have Sam Darnold, who was great for you guys. He kind of teetered off towards the end of last year in the playoffs, but man, tough spot they were in, and it looks like they chose the wrong QB to be leading their team because he's not good. The Packers today, Jordan Love did what he needed to do today. He only got sacked once. He didn't turn the ball over. He just did what he needed to do, and the Packers won this game 14-21 for Jordan Love, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Emmanuel Wilson, he scored the 2 offensive touchdowns today. 28 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Christian Watson, 5 for 49. Dontavian Wicks, 2 for 32. Romeo Dobbs, 2 for 23, and 2 for 18 for Emmanuel Wilson receiving. So ultimately, the Vikings are in turmoil. The Packers, they win another game, which is important in the NFL. Did they look woefully impressive doing so? No, they haven't looked woefully impressive all year. But guess what? They won a game, an in-division game, and that's important. And their defense handled business today. They continued to make JJ McCarthy see ghosts. Like JJ McCarthy is already seeing ghosts on his own, but they amplified the amount of ghosts he was seeing today. Micah Parsons with 2 sacks, Devontae Wyatt with 2 sacks. I mean, everyone was eating today. The pressures, the sacks, the Packers were eating today, and they moved to 7-3-1, and the Vikings fall to 4-7. Moving on, the New England Patriots get another win, which just, god damn it, man. One of these dudes gonna lose again. The Patriots beat the Bengals 26-20. The Patriots moved to 10-2. The Bengals fall to 3-8. Um, One of the biggest storylines from this game is the Patriots left this game injured. Will Campbell got injured and someone else got injured for the Patriots, which is not good news. And as much as I am a Bills fan, I am a fan of Will Campbell. I think he's a great offensive lineman. I love his attitude. I love his play style. I love his capabilities as a tackle in the NFL. So I hope he's healthy, and I hope that's not season ending because honestly, I want to ruin the Patriots season when they're at full health, so there's no excuses. But anyway, for real though, I hope he's good. Drake made it a 22 for 35, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 294 yards passing. This dude is clutch. He's annoyingly clutch. There was a 3rd and 10. They're on their own 5. It looks like the Bengals have them pinned. There's not going to be a touchdown, or there's not going to be a first down nonetheless. And he just throws a beautiful ball to Pop Douglas. Just beautiful. As soon as it left his hands, you knew it was a completion. This dude is great, man. I'm sorry. And before Sunday Night Football's game, I was like, he's probably gonna win MVP because he wasn't playing great today. But then there's some moments from him where you're like, whoa, this guy is special, and I still think he's special. And if you watch football and you watch him play, how don't you think he's special? He's the best quarterback from that draft class. Jaden Daniels is injury prone. I thought he had a terrific rookie season. Hopefully, he gets back to what he was in his rookie year. Caleb Williams, inconsistent. Don't know what to believe with him at this point, honestly. But Drake May is the best quarterback in that draft class, and I'm pretty sure that should be synonymous with everyone who watches football. So, Trayvon Henderson, 18-66. Hunter Henry had a huge game today. He should have had 2 touchdowns today. 7 for 115 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Austin Hooper. Everyone got involved today. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people on the Patriots to catch a football today. Crazy, man. You want to talk about everyone eats Buffalo Bills? Everyone is eating for the Patriots. Now, I know they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals who have a horrible defense, but everyone is eating. Um, First of all, the Bengals, they had the Patriots in so many vulnerable spots and they couldn't capitalize off it. They really should have been able to, and they just couldn't. So, thank you, Bengals, for not doing your job. Joe Flacco, 1937, 183 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, which was a pick six. Maybe the worst pass by any quarterback this season. I mean, that pick six he threw was so horrible, man. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Marcus Jones picked it. I mean, Marcus Jones was looking in his eyes the whole time, reading Flacco's eyes, and Flacco, who's been a vet for God knows how long now, just throws it right to him. The only bright spot from the Bengals today was Chase Brown. He's actually been running the ball pretty goddamn good recently, despite how bad the O-line is. 19, 107 yards, no touchdowns. Isovas, 4 for 61 receiving. The big news for this Bengals today was T. Higgins got injured. Hopefully it's not season ending. Hopefully he can play Thanksgiving with Jamar Chase against the Ravens because I would love to see that game with the Bengals wide receiving core fully healthy and hopefully Burrow playing, but I don't think Burrow's going to play this year. Yeah. So ultimately the Patriots get another win, which is huge for the spot they are in the conference and within their own division, and the Bengals continue to falter. Bengals moved to 3-8. Patriots moved to 10-2. Moving on, the Giants versus the Lions. What a fucking game this was. Giants fall to 2-10. Lions, they moved to 7-4. By the way, what the hell was Dable doing starting Russell Wilson for as long as he did? You could have put Jackson Dart in, but also if you didn't want to put Jackson Dart in, put in Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston would have won you a couple of the games you had Russell Wilson starting in. Listen, Jameis Winston will make mistakes. He will throw bad picks, but goddamn, he is so much fun. He's a team guy, and goddamn, he plays great in spurts because he was pretty great today. I know his completion percentage might not look like it. He was 18 to 36, 366 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He only took 1 sack, but he also had a receiving touchdown. I mean, that receiving touchdown felt like Florida State Jameis Winston. He juked a guy, broke a tackle, and then did a perfect celebration in the end zone. Jameis Winston, man. Is there a more lovable guy in the NFL than Jameis Winston? If you hate Jameis Winston, that is your fault, not his. Um, so I loved watching Jameis Winston ball out today, and that receiving touchdown was the best touchdown by any player in the NFL this year. And my God, that was awesome to watch. Tyrone Tracy, 20 for 62 rushing. Devin Singletary, 14 to 47 rushing. Wan'Dale Robinson, 9 for 156 yards and 1 touchdown. One of my buddies told me a while back that Khalil Shakir isn't a better wide receiver than Wan'Dale Robinson. And I almost bent the knee to him today until he texted me and reminded me about his take. So then I was like, put the barrier up and say, fuck you. Like, I'm not giving you that. I was going to give it to you, but you texting me and asking me to bend the knee, I'm not going to give it to you. And by the way, I don't think Wan'Dale's a better receiver than Shakir. I just think the Bills' offense, particularly Joe Brady, doesn't use Shakir the right way. I think he would be doing the same thing Wan'Dale Robinson was doing today if he was in the Giants offense. So Theo Johnson, 3 for 77 receiving, Tyrone Tracy, 3 for 68, Isaiah Hodgins, former Buffalo Bill, 2 for 42, 1 touchdown, and then Jameis Winston with the receiving touchdown. The Giants just blow games, which is perfectly fine. Honestly, if I was a Giants fan in this spot, hey, compete because that's what they're doing. This is a team that's way better than the record. They're 2-10. They aren't a 2-10 caliber team. They are a pretty spunky and gritty and fun team to watch. And honestly, Jackson Dart's injured, Malik Neighbors is injured, and Scatterboo is injured. So it's like, hey, we know we're gonna suck. Let's get a high draft pick. But honestly, let's show this fight that we're showing every week. So I think you should be really happy if you're a Giants fan because this team is really fun to watch. They were really fun to watch today, and they competed heavily with the Lions team that everyone loves and everyone thinks is a top team. But honestly, these past few weeks, as I've been watching the Lions, I don't know if I really believe in this Lions team. This Lions team is I don't know. I don't know what to think. Jared Goff, 28 for 42, 279 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He took 3 sacks today. Jahmyr Gibbs, the best running back in the NFL. I mean, this guy is so fast, and the angles that he's able to run at, and the way he's able to evade tackles, the way he's able to juke, the way he's able to stiff arm. This guy is tremendous. All-time running back already, in my opinion. 15 to 219 yards rushing, 14.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra. By the way, on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of people, Lions fans specifically, hate on Amon-Ra. What the fuck is going on here? I would die for Amon-Ra to be a Buffalo Bill. 9 receptions, 149 yards, receiving 1 touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs also had a receiving touchdown. 11 for 45, 1 touchdown. Honestly, it's getting brighter and brighter every day when I watch the Lions. Jameson Williams, this is noticeable. 0 catches today. He had 3 targets. This receiving core, when you remove a couple of guys and that defense is able to stop them, it gets bleak. Khalif Raymond had 2 receptions, 37 yards. Brock Wright, 3 for 29. Laporta is injured, and he's coming back. He's on the IR. I think he has like 2 to 3 games left out. When he comes back, that's a massive get back for the Lions. But man, this Lions offense does not look the same since Dan Campbell took back the play calling duties, seemingly. By the way, James Williams, I love you, but that contract that you got seems crazy at the moment. So the Lions, they get a win. They come back and beat the Giants. It shouldn't have been this close of a game, but the Giants were fighting their heart out. And Lions get a big win heading into Thanksgiving. They play the Packers Thanksgiving, which is a great, great, great game. Can't wait to watch that. I mean, holy cow, that game means a lot. Um, I don't know what to think about that game. That game's really interesting. But the Lions gonna win an important win. They move to 7-4. Giants fall to 2-10. Moving on, Steelers. They lose to Chicago Bears 28-31. Aaron Rodgers did not play. Hopefully he doesn't play next week too, to be honest, against the Buffalo Bills. The Bears moved to 8-3, and the Pittsburgh Steelers moved to 6-5. For a second there, I thought the Steelers really had this game. I did, but ultimately the Steelers, the defense they've been playing recently, man, is abysmal. And quite shocking considering the regime that you're accustomed to with Mike Tomlin. Usually the offense is bad and the defense is really good, but this year it's more like the offense is mediocre to sometimes good and the defense is bad or sometimes overperforming. Which they shouldn't be overperforming because they're the highest paid defense in the NFL, but compared to what they've done at their lowest this year, they are overperforming in some spots. Mason Rudolph, 20 for 31, 171 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The first pass of the game from him was a pick, but it was a great pick by Narshawn Wright. He took 2 sacks today. Kenneth Gainwell, man. Is Pittsburgh your home? 10 of 92, no touchdown. Jalen Warren, 18 of 68, 1 touchdown. DK Metcalf, 1 rushing touchdown. Pat Freiermuth with a receiving touchdown. Darnell Washington, 2 for 22. John Smith, 3 for 21. John Smith might be one of the most underwhelming gets this year for any team. He's just been underwhelming. But honestly, it might be due to the system because there's 3 tight ends that they really love in Pittsburgh. Kenneth Walker, 6 for 30 receiving. Calvin Austin, 4 for 36 receiving. DK, 5 for 22. DK's also underwhelming as hell, man, this year. He's the only receiver on that team, so he's gonna be double most of the time. But man, underwhelming as hell. Um, so really, the Steelers, I thought they had it. The Bears wanted to give it to them, but the Steelers weren't able to take it. Caleb Williams, 19 of 35, 239 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He did what he needed to do today. Only took 1 sack. Kyle Monangai, he's running back number 1 in Chicago, which hurts me because I'm a DeAndre Swift fantasy owner. I'm sure Swift will have some good fantasy numbers to close out the year, but Monangai is taking over as the main ball carrier in Chicago. He was effective today. Only averaged 4 yards a carry, but he did what he needed to do. He had some clutch drives. DJ Moore with 2 receiving touchdowns today. I thought Dunze and Moore were going to have a bad day, but I was wrong. I'm allowed to be wrong, and I'll admit it to you guys when I'm wrong. DJ Moore, 5 for 64, 2 touchdowns. Odunze, 3 for 53, no touchdowns. Colson Loveland, man, he's looked better and better every week. So, listen, I think Tyler Warren's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL for a very long time. But, man, Colson Loveland, he's shutting up all the people who were shitting on Loveland being chosen over Warren these past couple of weeks. Luther Burden, 3 for 46. Yeah, man. The Bears, they escape this one. They get the win, and they get another win, man. They're atop of their division, the NFC North. They are 8-3, and man, I'm curious how their season ends up. They got the Eagles on Black Friday. Interesting ass game. I think the Eagles handle business there, but wow, 8-4. They're probably gonna be after Friday. Bears win. The defense did wonders for them today. They forced a good amount of turnovers. This team is a turnover forcing machine. They had a pick today. I mean, they handle business on defense, man. So shout out to the Bears. They get their win. They moved to 8-3, and the Steelers they fall to 6-5. And the playoff hopes they have are dwindling, and winning the division is probably out of the question now because the Ravens are back, despite their offense not being good. The Ravens. So moving on to the best game of the 1 o'clock slate, and a game I wish ended the opposite way, but I knew the Chiefs were going to win this game. The Chiefs moved to 6-5. They beat the Colts 23-20, and ultimately the Colts should have had this game. Nick Wright, I love you, my favorite sports analyst in the world of football, NFL, and honestly sports right now, but he released a tweet, whatever the fuck. I said a Twitter. I'm 24, dude. I shouldn't be talking like that. He released a tweet saying it was never a doubt. Boy, it was a doubt. You were down 20-9 heading into the fourth quarter, and you had to go to overtime to beat them. You had all the better stats on offense, and you still had to take them to overtime to beat them. I mean, let's talk about it. The Chiefs had 494 yards total on offense. The Colts had 255. The Chiefs had 2 turnovers that they gave to the Colts. The Colts had 0. The Chiefs had 33 first downs. The Colts had 10. They had more converted third downs. They had more converted fourth downs. They were 1 for 6 in the red zone, and their time of possession was 42 minutes and 35 seconds. They had to take the Colts into overtime to beat them, despite leading in all those categories. So it was a doubt, and you guys have a good win, so just relax. But I do think them heading into Dallas next week, not next week, but in the next couple of days on Thanksgiving, is an underrated game. Because I do think the Cowboys can beat the Chiefs. Dare I say it. I do think they could, but I'm not going to officially say that, but I really do think they can. Patrick Mahomes today, 29 for 46, 352 yards passing, 1 pick, which put the Colts in really good field position. I thought it was a pick 6, but it ultimately wasn't. Kareem Hunt with a 100-yard day, 30 carries, 104 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. Mahomes 4 for 30 rushing. Rashee Rice 140+ yards a day receiving, 8 for 141 yards, 1 tud. Xavier Worthy 4 for 59. Travis Kelce 4 for 43. Rashad Smith 3 for 31. Kareem Hunt 3 for 26. Noah Gray 3 for 25. Kareem Hunt had a huge fumble that I thought was the end of the game for the Chiefs, but somehow they overcame that. I don't think Patrick Mahomes looked good today. I don't. He didn't have a passing touchdown today. He didn't look good today. Luckily, Rashee Rice was open in spots, and luckily, that Colts defense isn't as good as you would want it to be, despite the new additions they made. Pat Mahomes didn't look today, but they won. So shout out to the Chiefs. As much as I wanted you to lose, you got the job done today. He got outplayed by Daniel Jones, in my opinion, today for most of that game, if not throughout the entirety of it. Daniel Jones, 19 to 31, 181 yards, passing, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor was the big story here today. He couldn't run the ball, and that's mainly due to the great defense of the Chiefs. Listen, I hate the Chiefs, but give credit where credit's due. They have a top 4 defense in the NFL, and that shined through multiple times in the run defense. Jonathan Taylor, 16 to 58, no touchdowns. He couldn't even get the 60-yard mark. Ashton Doolin, 1 for 48. Tyler Warren, 5 for 45. Michael Pittman, 5 for 27 and a touchdown. Alec Pierce, 1 for 26. Josh Downs, 2 for 10. Malai Cox, 1 for 9. And Drew Ogletree, 2 for 8 with a tud. Yeah, man. The Chiefs escape. They should have been 5-6, but now they're 6-5, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team won out. I just wouldn't. Like, that's how talented this team, and that's how much respect you got to give this team. I think the Cowboys could beat them on Thursday because that's how great I think that Cowboys offense is. But most likely the Chiefs win, and then they have the Texans on Sunday night, which is a great game, man. I think the Texans could beat them because that's how great that defense is, and that's how poorly Pat Mahomes has been playing. But everyone outside of that, maybe the Broncos as well. I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs could win out, but there's also like 2 to 3 games on the rest of the way that I can see them losing. But they most likely win those. So the Chiefs get another win. They squeak one out. The Colts falter. I mean, they blow an 11-point lead, and the Chiefs rally from an 11-point deficit. So Chiefs, congrats, you're 6-5 heading into Thanksgiving. Fuck you guys, really. No. I'm just bitter, all right? I'm bitter. I'm 0-4 against you guys in the playoffs. I'm bitter, all right? Sorry, sue me. Moving on. I'm pretty sure I talked about the entire 1 o'clock slate. I didn't miss anything. So let's go to the 4 o'clock slate. Listen, there was one really great game and another really good game, but there's some interesting storylines nonetheless. Let's talk about the blowout game, get it out of the way. Falcons beat the Saints 24-10. I said this before picking this game. First of all, I picked the Saints. I did. I picked the Saints. How I conceptualized that pick was Falcons are dead. Kirk Cousins is starting, and I actually think the Saints have a pretty good defense, and I like how I saw that Saints offense play when I last saw them. I did say, though, that in this division, the division that the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, and the Bucks are in, that in the lowly matchups, you should probably pick the underdogs because it's the underdogs are going to win out, and that's what happened in this game. The underdog won, and the team that was favored shouldn't have been favored. Ultimately, the Saints kind of blew this game. They really did. I mean, listen, Kirk Cousins had a really great pass to Darnell Mooney, who could seemingly only catch when Kirk Cousins is his quarterback. He had a really nice touchdown to David Sills as well, Kirk Cousins. But there was a lot of wasted opportunities by the Saints in the red zone. Horrible play calling by Kellen Moore. Situations where he should have kicked a field goal. And, my God, dude, why were they so scared to pass on the 1-yard line? And instead, when they did pass, they have Taysom fucking Hill passing the ball, who I honestly despise at this point. Get Taysom Hill out of the league. Let Tyler Shuck throw the ball. Like, what was that? I didn't understand the red zone play calling from the Saints at times. Kirk Cousins, 16-23, 199 yards, passing 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He took 3 sacks. Bijan, man, he had some really exciting plays today. 14-70 rushing the ball, 12-44 rushing from Tyler Algier. Darnell Mooney, 3 for 74, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 2 for 37. Kyle Pitts, 2 for 25. Honestly, Kirk Cousins won this game with a really banged up wide receiver core, so shout out to him. Really, the best play from the Saints all day wasn't an offensive play. It was a freaking defensive pick 6 from Justin Reed, who hasn't had a pick 6 in 7 years, so shout out to him. Tyler Shuck didn't look bad in moments, but Kellen Moore didn't trust him in spots he should have. Let him throw the ball on the 1-yard line, dude. What the hell is your, let your rookie throw. I didn't understand that. Tyler Shuck, 30 for 43, 243 yards passing, 1 pick. He took 5 sacks. And the Saints' running game has been abysmal all year. Alvin Kamara, man, this dude can't run the ball anymore. I know the O-line isn't great. It probably isn't even good, but this dude is washed. And he probably should have took a trade somewhere else. I know he wanted to stay here, but why? I don't know. Maybe it's just too much of an inconvenience to get up and pack your shit and move, but he should have took his opportunity and left because the Saints aren't going to be any good anytime soon. Tyler Shuck, 7-22 rushing. He led the team in rushing. I'm going to tell you guys the average rush yards per player. I'm not even going to tell you the players because the players don't even matter. 3.1 yards a carry, 2.6 yards a carry, 1.7 yards a carry. That was from Tyson Hill, and he had 10 carries for 17 yards. Tyson Hill is a burger. Get him out of here, man. And Alvin Kamara 3.7. Chris Olave, dude, I wish you were a Buffalo Bill, but you're not. 9 for 70. Juwan Johnson 6 for 46. Devin Neal 5 for 43. Devon Vele 3 for 37. Mason Tipton 3 for 22, and Dante Pettis 1 for 14. So this was a really an uninteresting game, and the Saints blew it in so many different spots in the red zone. So the Falcons, they get their win. They move to 4-7, and the Saints move to 2-9. Moving on, Browns beat the Raiders, and I couldn't believe what this line was. I couldn't believe the Browns were underdogs, considering how bad the Raiders' O line was and how great this defense for the Browns is. Um, Anyone want to guess how many sacks the Browns had today? Did you say 5? A little bit higher. Did you say 7? A little bit higher. Did you say 8? 9? A little bit higher. It was 10 sacks they had on Geno Smith today. Poor Geno Smith. And I see a lot of people blaming Geno Smith for this game and the past prior games, but honestly, dude, you can't blame him too much. He's been horrible this year. 13 picks, 32.9 QBR. But man, he has no time. He can't throw the ball. How do you expect someone to throw the ball when they're getting sacked 10 times in the game? That D line was eating up the Browns, man. If they get a good enough offense soon, this Browns team is really good because that defense is ridiculous. That D line, that linebacking core, the secondary. I mean, man, once they get an offense, this Browns team is really, really good. Geno Smith, 30-44 today, 285 passing, 1 touchdown. Ashton Jeanty, 17 for 50 rushing. Tyler Lockett, 4 for 62. Ashton Jeanty, 8 for 58, 1 touchdown. Brock Bowers, 6 for 55. Trey Tucker, 3 for 28. Geno Smith had 2 fumbles, 1 loss. He didn't throw a pick, though. So shout out to Geno Smith. No pick for you today. Man, that O-line for the Raiders is the worst O-line in the NFL. And it might be the worst O-line I've seen in some time. I mean, the reps they have and the missed assignments they have, the unblocked rushers they got, and then the facial expression on the offensive linemen are abysmal. Shador Sanders, hey, clap it up. Decent rookie NFL start. Shador Sanders, 11 to 20, 209 yards passing, 10.5 yards a pass, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That 1 pick was bad. He only took 1 sack today. 16 to 47, 2 touchdowns from Judkins. He's really good. They had him doing the Ronnie Brown Wildcat today, which I really love. I love that style of football. Sue me. Dylan Sampson had a receiving touchdown, and AKA Shador Sanders' first passing touchdown in the NFL. Dylan Sampson 2 for 59, 1 tud. Isaiah Bond 2 for 58. Shador hit him on a really great deep ball today. Harold Fanning 4 for 40. Jerry Jeudy 1 for 39. And Jerry Jeudy had one of the worst plays of the day, maybe the NFL season. Shador hits him on the rope. He's in open field, and then he starts hop stepping, and then the ball gets punched out of his arm. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're an NFL vet at this point, Jerry Jeudy. You should be way better than you are. You had a great season last year. What the hell are you doing, dude? It was one of the most shocking plays I've seen all year. Really just horrible play. I don't think he got many snaps after that. It was just, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing, bud? So listen, do I think Shador is the guy? I'm not going to answer that question yet. He had an all right rookie debut starting. His defense pretty much won them this game. They didn't trust him totally yet. They ran a lot of Wildcat, like I said. But ultimately, he wasn't great. He wasn't good. But he wasn't bad at all. And in my opinion, he looked better than Dylan Gabriel. That screenplay he threw to Dylan Sampson, which everyone was like, oh, that was an easy pass. And yes, Sampson did most of the work, and that safety, Lonnie Johnson on the Raiders, just completely let him run by him. But I've seen Dylan Gabriel won that screen pass quite a bit of times since he's been a starter for the Browns, and none of them have looked as smooth and as good as that. So take that as you will. The Browns, they moved to 3-8, and the Raiders fall to 2-9, and man, the Raiders are a shit show. Jaguars beat the Cardinals 27-24 in a really good game. I'm not surprised this is their record, but I'm surprised this record is this bad, I guess, because the Cardinals aren't this bad in my opinion. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they moved to 7-4. The Cardinals fall to 3-8, and the Jaguars beat the Cardinals 27-24. Man, T-Law was horrible today, and I think the Jags might move on from him. I don't know if Liam Cohen wants this guy to be his quarterback. This guy had horrible interceptions today. Granted, Buda Baker made a great pick on that last pick he threw T-Law, but man, this was a horrible performance of T-Law. Luckily, he got it together and ultimately won them this game, I guess. But man, he threw a pick to three different defenders, and all three of them were horrible picks, you can argue. Buda Baker was a pretty interesting pick, but God. He also had that fumble, which was a touchdown to Walter Nolan, the rookie on the Cardinals from Ole Miss. It was a fumble six. Really should be an interception six or pick six, but it was a fumble six. And man, so T Law, he had four turnovers today, and three picks were horrible. I guess you could excuse the fumble, but man, this is a horrible game from T Law. Despite him getting the win and throwing three touchdowns, T Law 18 to 30, 256 yards passing, three touchdowns, three picks. He took three sacks. Travis Etienne 15 to 86, 5.7 yards a carry. T Law 5 for 29 rushing. Brenton Strange 5 for 93. Parker Washington, who I really like. I mentioned that last video, but I really like Parker Washington, man. I like him on special teams, and I really, really, really like him recently on offense. 5 for 71, one touchdown for Parker Washington. Jacoby Myers finally got on board for the Jaguars. 4 for 50, one touchdown. Travis Etienne 3 for 30, one touchdown. Like I said, I predicted the Jaguars to go 11-6 when I was predicting this full NFL season. I don't think they're going to do that this year, but I am curious how this offense looks with Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and Travis Hunter, which that won't be until next year. But man, Tim Patrick was also horrible a couple plays in this game as well. But I'm interested in the Jaguars. They're not a good team, but they're not a bad team. Jacoby Brissett, 33 of 49, 317 yards passing, one touchdown. He took six sacks today. He was under a lot of duress today. That old line was doing him no help. Michael Carter, 5 for 28. Jacoby Brissett, 3 for 20 rushing. Michael Wilson, man, he continues to be a great wide receiver one in the absence of Marvin Harrison Jr. 10 for 118 for Michael Wilson. Trey McBride, 9 for 79. Greg Dortch, 6 for 53, one touchdown. Michael Carter, 3 for 30. Bam Knight, 4 for 20. The Jaguars, they had a lot of pressure on the Cardinals, affecting Jacoby Brissett throughout the entirety of this game. Like I said, heading into this game, the Cardinals have a very underrated defense. They forced 4 turnovers from Trevor Lawrence tonight, and they still couldn't get the win. So, underwhelming in spots on offense from the Cardinals. Jacksonville did what it needed to do when it comes to forcing so much pressure on Jacoby Brissett that he wasn't able to get comfortable. And the Jaguars, they moved to 7-4. The Cardinals fall to 3-8. And the Jaguars, they play the Titans next week. So that should be another one for the Jaguars. They moved to 8-4, and the next week they have the Colts. So it's going to be interesting how the season pans out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Cardinals, they're gritty. They're a team full of fight. Jonathan Gannon, man, I assume he's going to get fired, but I actually think he's a pretty good coach. And I actually think every team he's coached on the Cardinals has been full of fight, and the rosters have been overperforming. The Dallas Cowboys, they're down 21-7 heading into half, and they overcome it. They hold the Eagles to 0 points in the second half. Granted, Jake Elliott did miss a field goal, but nonetheless, man, 0 points they held the Eagles to in the second half. The Cowboys beat the Eagles in Dallas 24-21. They moved to 5-1, and the Eagles fall to 8-3. What a comeback victory for the Cowboys. And man, I'll say it. I'm not a big of a hater of the Cowboys as everyone else seemingly in this world is. I don't like them. They beat the Bills when the Bills lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls, but do I hate them? No, I don't hate them. And I was actually pretty impressed with this performance today, and I found myself rooting for them. I really like George Pickens, man. This dude is spectacular to watch. He is one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he is certainly wide receiver 1 on the Cowboys. I mean, CeeDee Lamb has seemingly forgot to catch balls. Pause. I don't need to pause that. We're talking about football here. Let's be grown-ups. He has seemingly forgot how to consistently catch balls, CeeDee Lamb. But he still had 4 catches for 75 yards. But he was targeted 11 times, CeeDee Lamb, and he only caught 4 balls. It seemed like he dropped 4 or 5 balls today. George Pickens, to the contrary of CeeDee Lamb, he was targeted 9 times today. Guess how many times he caught the ball? 9 times. George Pickens, 9 for 146 yards, 1 tud. Jake Ferguson, 5 for 60. Cavante Turpin, 1 for 48. Javonte Williams, 2 for 14. When it came to rushing, Javonte Williams, 20 for 87. Malik Davis, 3 for 24. Dak Prescott, 5 for 9 and a touchdown. Dak Prescott, 23 for 36, 354 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I will say this. Dak Prescott threw a really bad pick today. He tried to force it to CeeDee Lamb. He probably would have dropped it anyway, CD. But it was picked off by Reed Blankenship, I believe. It was either Reed Blankenship or Cooper DeJean. But anyway, besides that pick, Dak Prescott was pretty goddamn good today. I thought Dak Prescott was really calm and composed. He did what he needed to do to win the game, and the Cowboys won. I also want to say this about the Cowboys. People were like, "Oh, people are over." I even said this. I thought the Eagles were going to blow out the Cowboys today, and that was far from the truth. Even though it did look like that to start, the Cowboys' defense has gotten better. The D line has been much improved. That team played as a unit today. And listen, I know the Eagles' offense is the worst part about that team. That is blatantly true. They are inconsistent. Despite having all that star power, they are inconsistent. But man, in my opinion, how the Cowboys stymied this Eagles offense was more an indictment of how much the Cowboys defense has improved and how much that coaching has really been getting to that team. They waived Kyer Elam, and there was a noticeable impact change on that defense. That's all I'll say. Once you waive Kyer Elam, there's going to be improvement on your team. And that's what we saw today. The pass rush looked good, and the secondary looked pretty goddamn good. With that being said, Jalen Hurts 27 for 39, one passing touchdown, 289 yards passing. He really didn't have a bad game today. He was only sacked once. They just fell short here. Jalen Hurts, 7 carries, 33 yards, 2 tuds. Saquon Barkley couldn't run the ball at all today, man. It's been a trend for him this year, but not being able to run the ball in Dallas is impressive, and that's an indictment on the Dallas Cowboys. Saquon Barkley, 10 for 22, and they forced a fumble on Saquon. Not only did they force a fumble on Saquon, they forced a fumble on the punt return. They forced 2 turnovers in the second half. This special teams by the Cowboys and this defense by the Cowboys was showing up. Um, AJ Brown had his biggest day today. I thought he was gonna have 2 touchdowns today. He really should have, but he didn't keep the other foot down. AJ Brown 8 for 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Despite the loss, AJ Brown was probably happy as shit. Devontae Smith 6 for 89. Saquon Barkley couldn't run the ball well, uh, but he was really effective in the receiving game until he had that fumble. Landon Dickerson was out for the Eagles today, and that was noticeable. So maybe that was why the defense looked so much better on the Cowboys, but I don't think so. I think Jerry made the right move here with Quinn Williams, man. That duo they got on the D line, the Cowboys, does look noticeably different, man. Like Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark, they're making some noise. I like what I saw from them, man. I like what I've seen from them ever since that acquisition was made. And the first time we saw that acquisition make a difference on the field was the Raiders game, but they've looked different, man. And this game is a big testament to that. Man, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm not stressing. I'm really not. This is an in-division game. Cowboys are a good team, despite the losses they have this year and despite the record. This is a good team. So don't put too much stock in this loss. But this was an interesting game, and it was a great game. Brandon Aubrey had a missed field goal that he usually makes, but ultimately he won the game for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, they come back down from 21-0, 21-7, and they win this game. They win it, and they hold the Eagles to 0 points in the second half, and they force 2 fumbles in the second half. And that is a shock because of what they've done in previous games this year, and that is a shock because of how well the Eagles looked on offense to start this game. So I'm impressed by the Cowboys, and I'm telling you what, the Cowboys are live against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. I'm telling you. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and company are that good on offense that they are going to cause problems for that Chiefs defense, despite how good that Chiefs defense is. Now, here's how we will know that this Cowboys defense is really that improved if they put up a good performance against this Chiefs offense. Now, the Chiefs offense hasn't looked that great. Pat Mahomes hasn't looked that great all year, but if they look good against Andy Reid's offense, which is the best play caller in the NFL, who's probably going to exploit this defense in all their weaknesses, if they somehow look good, man, oh man, wow. The Cowboys are back. I will say that. I'm rooting for the Cowboys so hard on Thursday on Thanksgiving. I will be cheering for them to beat the Chiefs. So the Cowboys, they moved to 5-5-1, heading into a huge Thanksgiving game, and the Eagles, they moved to 8-3, heading into a big Black Friday game against the Chicago Bears. Now moving on to the final game of the Sunday slate, the Rams absolutely batter the Bucks 34-7. They dominated the Bucks so badly. The Bucks injuries finally caught up to them. Even Baker got injured on the Hail Mary attempt at the end of half. He threw his shoulder out, so it was a miserable night for the Bucks. But one thing is certain for me, in my opinion, I think the MVP might have been decided tonight. It just might have. At least it was for me. Like through week 12, heading into week 13, Stafford is the clear MVP. He has 30 touchdowns this year with 2 interceptions. Yes, I know the Bucks defense is injured. I know it's a bad defense right now, but my goodness, Stafford was perfect tonight. Some of the passes he was throwing tonight were perfect. That first touchdown pass to Devontae Adams was one of the prettiest passes I've ever seen in my life. Just perfect. He is the best pure thrower of the football in the NFL. Sorry, Pat Mahomes. Sorry, Josh Allen. And sorry, Lamar Jackson. He is the purest thrower of the football. And man, oh man, how he has refined his game under Sean McVay. Yes, he has had great receivers in LA. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, and then obviously Devontae Adams now. And man, I don't care. Like, he has completely refined and toned his game to perfection. He is one of the greatest throwers of the ball, and I hope he wins MVP this year so he can easily get in the Hall of Fame now. Matthew Stafford tonight, 25 of 35, 273 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, only took 1 sack. He surprisingly stayed until the end of this game, which he didn't need to. I was shocked that Sean McVay had him in for as long as he did. No backup took snaps tonight. Kyle Williams didn't need to run the ball tonight. I mean, it was over by halftime. It really legitimately was. Kyron, 12 for 46 rushing. Blake Corum, 7 for 24. Puka Nakua, 7 for 97. Devontae Adams, 5 for 62 and 2 touchdowns. This man was cooking the Bucks corner. I forget the Bucks corner's name, but I felt bad for him. Colby Parkinson, 4 for 41, 1 touchdown. Davis Allen, 2 for 29. Konate Munfield, 2 for 25. And man, the Rams were beating the piss out of the Bucks. I want to say this. The Rams defense is incredible. That DC the Rams have, I forget his name at the moment right now, which is a bad thing on my part, but he's going to be a head coach next year, and I hope he's a Buffalo Bills head coach if Sean McDermott does get fired, if he doesn't bring the Super Bowl. But anyway, that's besides the point. This defense is so good and so scary, and if you're a casual watcher of football, you probably don't know any of them except for like Jared Verse, Nate Landman, and Kitchens. But even if you're a casual, Brandon Fisk, I don't think you would know most of them. Josiah Stewart's so good. I mean, man, this defense, Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, and most importantly, I have to give up my props to Emmanuel Forbes. He was ridiculed in Washington. Every Commanders fan hated him. They wanted him gone. And this is why a lot of people buy low on first round draft picks because there's a reason why they were drafted in the first round. They're talented. And Emmanuel Forbes, under the right system, under the right coaching, and around the right players, he is a pretty goddamn good corner, and he's proven that this year with the LA Rams. He is special. And then you have all these other players on this Ram defense. Jared Verse, Darius Williams, Troy Reader, Kobe Durant, who had the pick six tonight for the LA Rams, which should have been a fumble six. We'll talk about that. But Kate Otten should have caught the ball. Josiah Stewart, Byron Young. Like, this defense is so good, is so well coached. This team is beautifully coached on both sides of the football. That's why it's the scariest team in the NFL. I mean, it's unreal. This team is great. This team is really great, the Rams, and Matthew Stafford is at the helm of it, and he's playing perfect football right now. He is MVP, and I think he might have officially won it tonight. I'm curious what the odds are. I'll look it up after this video. Bucks, man, it was tough sledding for you guys tonight. Teddy Bridgewater was getting snaps in the year 2025. Not a great sign. Baker Mayfield threw his shoulder out. He had 2 picks, 1 touchdown heading into half, 9 of 19, 41 yards heading into half. He took 2 sacks heading into half. It was a bad night from him, but he really should have just had 1 pick. Kate Otten dropped a ball right into the defender's lap for a pick six, which goes somehow on Baker Mayfield's record. Sean Tucker was shut down tonight, 12 for 42. Rashad White, 7 for 38. Emeka Buka shut down again this week, 3 for 32. Ted Johnson, 3 for 21. Kate Otten, 4 for 21. The Bucks were shut down tonight. They looked really bad on defense. They looked old. They looked injured, which they are. And the Rams look like the scariest team in the NFL. And this was a blowout. And man, oh man, the Rams are scary. And man, oh man, Matthew Stafford, who is future and his season ending was up in the air because of all we heard he was going through in the offseason and the preseason. But now he's arguably the best quarterback this year, or at least deserving, oh, so mightily of the MVP. I mean, he has 30 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he's top 5 in passing yards, and he has the 5th best QBR in the NFL. So this dude's a stud. He's one of my favorite NFL players of all time, and I love seeing the success he's having in LA under Sean McVay. So that is it for Week 12. That is my Sunday recap. Tomorrow's game is Panthers or 49ers. I think that game's going to be close. I think the 49ers do pull away. But man, what a Sunday. Some fun games, some interesting storylines to take away from it, and we are heading into Thanksgiving week. This is the week, fellas, where you realize that the season is dwindling down, and if you're a fan of a team who is on the edge of getting out of the playoffs or making it, this is where your asshole puckers up. I mean, I really couldn't have put it any better. So Thanksgiving week, feast week, we get great college basketball this week, we get great college football this week, and we get Thanksgiving football, which is one of my favorite days of the year. I mean, come on. Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to release TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Rams predicting those games, and then on Thursday when I record my week 13 predictions video, I will break down those games, I'll recap them, and then I'll predict the rest of the week 13 slate, the Friday game and the Sunday games. So it is your boy Mac Talk Sports. If you made it this far in the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe right now. Why not? If you made it this far in the video, please do me a favor and then follow me everywhere at Matt Talk Sports, Instagram and TikTok. I will see you on all those platforms. If you're a film fan, you like watching film, you like hearing people talk about films and give their own honest, unique opinions, follow me everywhere at Matt Talks Films, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and subscribe to my channel at Matt Talks Films. I just did a recap on Wicked. I hated it, and I'm also going to release another recap on The Rental Family, which is one of the most beautiful films of the year. So thank you for watching this video if you made it this far. I know a lot of you didn't, but if you did, please let me know you did so I can show you some love in the comments. It's your boy Matt Talk Sports. I will see you Thursday, where I'll recap the Thursday games and I'll break down the rest of week 13. It's your boy Matt Talk Sports. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you Friday morning.